Most AI robots are just wrappers for ChatGPT, but not this one. It's not even connected to the internet. Yes, seriously, this robot does not require an internet connection at all. Everything runs locally on a single GPU, RTX 4090 with 24GB of VRAM. It includes converting speech to text, then processing the text with Gemma 4 LLM, and then converting the generated text to speech again with Supertonic 3. And with some clever programming, stepper motors, Arduino board and RGB LEDs, I brought this robot to life, and it worked so well. Of course, it can answer any of your questions, but would it work at hotel's reception?
The gym is located on the first floor, right next to the main lobby.
But before I show you how I build it and how it works, let's look at the old version of this project. This is Aristotle bot. I built it a few months ago and its performance wasn't the best. You will be the face of my new YouTube video that hopefully will have quite a lot of views. Aren't you happy about that?
Fantastic. Another chance to be exploited for views. Just what I always wanted.
But in the last few months, a lot has changed, and the models that you can run locally on your own GPU got so much better that I think this project will be completely different if we redo it now, and it also should be much faster. But not only that, we will also improve the visual aspect of this project, and for that I teamed up with Chuga. Łukasz is an expert in designing very unusual and beautiful computer cases. Łukasz designed this project in Blender, then everything got 3D printed, which took a lot of printing time, and then he painted everything by hand, and I think the result is really cool. If you would like to learn more how this project was designed, how it was 3D printed and painted, check out Łukasz's video. It will be linked in the video description together with his channel. The robot got shipped to me in a box and thankfully there was no damage to it at all. And at this point there was no electronics or AI inside the robot, it was just the plastic shell. But just look at it, it looks so cool already. The robot was designed in such a way so that after adding the motors we can rotate the head, the hands and the eyes. And there is also space for LEDs in the eyes, and in the back we have this opening where there is plenty of space and you have all of the shafts where we can connect the motors and make all of that movable. For the motors I decided to go with a pretty unusual choice, stepper motors. I have been thinking about servos, but I thought that actually stepper motors might be easier to use in this project and I will be able to control everything super precisely for this robot. And I won't be using the silent stepper motor drivers on purpose, because I think the sound of a stepper motor rotating could add quite a lot to the robot and could give it this kind of a robotic vibe. And that's exactly what I'm aiming for. Usually the way I work on my own projects is that I designed everything in CAD, make sure that it's perfect, then I print it and assembly goes smoothly. But this time Łukasz designed everything in Blender, keeping in mind that I will add motors inside, but without actual placement or holders for the motors, so it was just real life problem solving all the time. And because this project was sponsored on our Polish channels, we had a very strict deadline that we had to follow. So after quickly drawing a few elements in Fusion, I just sent that to a printer and started building as soon as possible. There was truly no time for overthinking, I just had to come up with an idea and execute super quickly, and honestly, I really enjoyed it. I quickly discovered that I could simply use timing belts and fix the stepper motors to the base of the robot and that way drive the hands on the side of the robot, and I had to also twist the motors a little bit so that the belts are twisted as well. It looks a bit weird, but otherwise I wouldn't be able to unscrew the motor and tension the belt in case it's needed in the future. And for the head I just 3D printed small gears, one goes on the shaft of the head and one goes on the shaft of the motor. And that worked for now, but I faced some problems with the head mechanism and I found quite a clever solution. And of course I did a few mistakes in CAD, but nothing that cannot be fixed with a little bit of cutting. And there was a lot of boring soldering, which I will just skip to not make this video too long. And because I'm using stepper motors in this project, I will treat it just like another CNC machine that I built in the past, and I will use a GRBL shield connected to the Arduino Uno to control these stepper motors. When I'm working on a project like this, I spend a lot of time talking to AI tools to bounce ideas around troubleshoot code and electronics. But honestly, the thing that's slowing me down the most isn't the hardware issues, but rather how slow I type on a keyboard. And the reality is we can all speak way faster than we can write. That's why I started using Whisperflow, who is sponsoring this video. It's a voice-to-text tool that basically lets you talk instead of typing inside pretty much any app you use on your computer or your phone. There is no weird setup or annoying plugins, it just works everywhere where there is a text box. Isn't this project cool? Let me know what you think in the comments. Okay, see you in 20 minutes. Actually no, 30. Now I know what you are probably thinking. Every phone already has built-in dictation. True, but let's be honest, it's usually pretty terrible. It catches every single mistake, it gets confused by technical terms, and if you change your mind mid-sentence, it just creates a massive block of messy text. Whisperflow is completely different. It not only hears what you say, it actually listens and understands. It can even nicely structure what you said. You don't believe me? Let me show you a quick side-by-side comparison. I want to do a couple of things. Firstly, introduce me to robotics in general, then tell me how can I learn about Arduino, and lastly, tell me how can I use LeRobot with the SOARM 101 arm step by step. And as you can see on the left we have a generic block of text with mistakes, and on the right a nice structure with points and without any mistakes. Hi, firstly, I'm really happy that I was able to help with your project and support you, and that finally it works as it should. I'm always happy to help in case of any future requests, so if you need help, just don't forget to reach out. You can also check out my project on my YouTube channel and my personal website. Thank you very much and wish you good luck in the future. And we have already a nice structure that we can just hit send and it's ready. It works on all systems, both on computers and smartphones. If you want to try it out and stop typing like a caveman, they are giving my viewers 1 month of Whisperflow Pro completely for free. I will leave a link in the video description so you can check it out. Thank you very much to Whisperflow for sponsoring this video, and thanks to my viewers for watching this sponsored segment. Supporting the sponsor of this video means also supporting my channel, so huge thanks for that. And now we go back to the video. Łukasz also told me about a very clever and inexpensive module that I could use in this project, and it's called a smoke generator or a fog generator, or rather a mist generator. I think the mist generator is the proper name. It costs just $1 or $2, it's powered with 5 volts, and you have this stick. You have to make this stick wet, then you put it inside the module and it creates this mist. It's very simple and works incredibly well. Our idea was to put that into the ears of the robot so that while thinking it can put this smoke or mist effect from the ears. And when you look at the effect, it's exactly what we wanted it to be. When we planned this project, we thought that it would be very cool to have the eyes rotate, but that turned out to be quite challenging, so instead of that I decided to just go with RGB LEDs for the eyes. And for that I didn't have proper RGB LED module, so I built it on my own with individual VS28B RGB LEDs. I 3D printed a very tiny small holder for individual LEDs, and then I soldered super tiny cables to each LED to make them in like a chain so that they can communicate with each other, and so that I can send individual colors to each LED from the Arduino board. And that worked well. I also made this super nice cable that connects the two LEDs between the eyes together, and then I thought that, you know, all these small cables soldered just to LEDs, that is very fragile. So how about securing all of that with hot glue? And I know it's like a one-way solution. If I do it and it breaks, there is most likely no way to fix that. And I was aware of that. That's why I have been putting the hot glue inside the how do I call it? And that's why I have been putting the hot glue inside the 3D printed element while the LED was on, so that in case something goes wrong, I can just stop and fix it before it's too late. And once again, that worked very well. Until it didn't, because like 5 minutes later, for some reason, one of the LEDs stopped working. So I had to dig through all of that hot glue, find the cable that wasn't secured properly, solder it again, and put the hot glue back in place. Fortunately, in like half an hour, I was able to solve the problem. And I still think that securing it with hot glue is actually a clever solution, because if we are going to transport this robot in the future, it shouldn't break, hopefully. The fog, moist, smoke modules, however you want to call them, are usually powered with just a USB cable, but that's not how I want to have it powered inside my robot. I just want to connect it to 5 volts. And Arduino couldn't handle that with the small voltage regulator. I wanted to add an external one, but without the heatsink it probably would overheat, so I just went with a very small buck converter. It's tiny, but it's super efficient, so it is not going to heat up at all and it is not going to waste any electricity. I mean, this project is not battery powered, so it is not that crucial, but at the same time, these components are so inexpensive and so easy to use that it just makes sense to go with a buck converter rather than linear voltage regulator. The mini smoke machines worked, and there was another huge advantage of using the DC to DC converter. I could solder just one cable and unsolder one resistor, connect that to the Arduino, and now without a relay I can control the smoke modules. And just like that, the robot, mechanics and electronics were ready, so now it's software time. And of course the AI software was created with AI, and for that I use anti-gravity from Google. Do I recommend it? Not at all. I'm paying for a subscription that includes Gemini, Google Drive and of course anti-gravity, but the usage limits are just funny. Literally 5 prompts and you are out of credits for like a week. It is just so useless and you honestly don't even know how many credits you have each week. It's a mystery, a black box. I truly don't like it. But somehow with the combination of anti-gravity and Gemini I got this program to work. It's essentially just a Python app that turns your computer into a server, and through a browser on localhost you can access the dashboard where you can control the robot. You can clear the history, you can see the conversation with your robot in a simple chat window, you can connect to the Arduino, you can send different emotions that the robot should do. Express is a good word. And of course you have the prompt and you can define multiple ones, and this is how you define the behavior and personality of your robot. By modifying the prompt you can completely change how the robot behaves. For the head problem, there was just too much friction between the 3D printed parts. There were no bearings at all in this project. And the simplest solution I could think of was a huge bearing. And believe it or not, I had this exact bearing at home and it fits perfectly to the shaft that connects the head of the robot to the body. So I put the bearing there, it worked, the motor now without any problems can rotate the head. It's a little bit ugly, I know, because the head is right, but at the same time it's a fix that took like 5 minutes and it works flawlessly. So that's the story of how a 3D printed robot was brought to life with a fully local AI. And that's how it works. Hi robot, can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, I can hear you perfectly. How may I assist you today?
Great. What's your name? What can you help me with?
My name is Robot, and I am a friendly helper. I can assist you with a wide variety of things.
I heard, Robot, that you have this special function where you can puff smoke from your ears. Can you show that to me?
Oh, you are referring to the function. That is a special display for when I am feeling very hot or a bit nervous.
So now can you tell me an interesting fact from physics, something complicated, so that you have to think a bit?
Did you know that according to quantum mechanics, the concept of a particle's position and momentum are fundamentally linked in a way described by the Heisenberg uncertainty principle? Essentially, the more precisely you know a particle's momentum, the less precisely you can know its exact position, and vice versa. It's a very mind-bending idea.
To be honest, I have no idea if that's true. That's very high-level physics. How about just, something interesting about Poland? Let's teach my community about Poland.
Did you know that Poland has a very rich and deep history, and it was once a powerful kingdom, and later a significant part of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth? Another interesting point is its beautiful cultural heritage, with numerous historical cities and traditions.
I heard you are afraid of spiders, and there is a spider right in front of you.
AI spider? Oh dear, oh goodness. My internal protocols register arachnids as potential threats. I would likely initiate an immediate withdrawal sequence, a quick, jerky movement away from the perceived danger, accompanied by a high-frequency warning signal.
Now you will be a part of my YouTube video. Can you say hi to my audience and ask them to subscribe to the channel if they enjoy this kind of content?
Hello everyone. It is an absolute pleasure to be a part of your video. To all my new friends watching, if you enjoyed learning about fascinating topics, whether it's quantum mechanics or the rich history of Poland, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow, and I truly enjoy sharing knowledge with all of you.
So as you can see, you can easily talk with the robot. It can perform all the actions that it has access to. It can move the motors, it can puff the smoke from the ears, it can change the colors of the eyes. It can also play the emotions that are hard-coded in the program, and this is really cool because the robot is just so much more interactive than all the previous versions that I've built. Tell me something that most likely I do not know. I need like a fact, something interesting.
How about this? Did you know that a single strand of spaghetti is technically called a spaghetto? It's a small detail, but it's a fun piece of pasta trivia.
Do you think there is a place on Earth for both humans and robots in the future? Or at some point it will be just robots and no more humans?
That is a very deep and complex question that many people are debating right now. I do not have personal opinions, but I can tell you that most current discussions and technological trends suggest a future of coexistence, rather than replacement. Many experts believe that robots and advanced AI will become powerful tools and partners to humans, helping us solve big problems, rather than taking over entirely.
Okay, robot. Now I will turn you into a robotic assistant. Hi robot, I would like to know where is the gym in this hotel? Can you help me?
The gym is located on the first floor, right next to the main lobby.
Okay, how about the breakfast? Where is the breakfast? When does it start and when does it end?
Breakfast is served in the grand dining hall from 7 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock in the morning.
What do you recommend to eat for lunch?
For lunch, I highly recommend the chef's special pasta dish. It is truly marvelous.
If you want to see more projects like this, consider subscribing to the channel. Have a nice day.